Here we are with at least a half-naked Luke Spiller of the Struts online with us. I had to, babes. I had to. Come on. It looks like you're in bed. Are we like tucking you in bed? Where are you and what are you doing?
I can't give too much of my location away, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I can confirm I'm in my California king size bed. Um, yeah, I won't tell you how much I have going on in my nether regions, but
That's okay. Mystery is actually a good thing, you know? Like
yeah,
leaving a little mystery out there is good.
yeah, less is more. More to the imagination. It's more sexy.
That's right. I love it. Hey, thank you for making the time for us. We know you are jamming specifically today. I think you're traveling to Vegas to start the tour with the Struts and Dirty Honey. You ready to rock?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. I'm heading to Vegas later on in the early evening. It's actually the second half of what's been an incredible tour so far, celebrating 10 years of Everybody Wants, the debut album.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, the only, gosh, the only downside was the break in between the two legs was a little short, but I had a bit of fun.
Mhm.
Um, we I actually didn't drink for the whole first half of the tour, which was about
Wow.
45 plus days or so. So I went pretty hard as soon as I got back to LA, and including an amazing night seeing Oasis at the Rose Bowl, um, which I'm honestly still emotionally and physically recovering from to some degree.
That's incredible. Oh yeah, we're gonna need details on that. Like, did you make that choice of not drinking for those 45 days because of the vocals or just the energy level, or what was the choice?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a combination of things. I think yeah, it definitely does not harm my performances whatsoever, like being sober. If anything, it sort of it sets the bar a lot higher. It just improves your mood, you sleep better. Um, yeah, my patience with people when I'm hungover every day tends to be quite short and thin,
Yeah.
uh, as you could sort of imagine. And like I'm in the business of making people happy and bringing joy to people, and honestly, having done touring relentlessly and experiencing it in two different ways, I can say from my own experience that being sober on tour, it's just you're more happy. You can be, it's easier to be present, and
Mhm.
I think it improves you as a performer, because I think you kind of get locked into a rhythm when you're drinking, where um you're sort of using alcohol as like a means to get excited about the performance
Yeah.
and to get like in the mood. And I think everybody goes through stages of that, but it's lovely just to sort of get genuinely organically excited,
Yeah.
whether that's sort of looking at like posts and messages that people send me, or just simply by like seeing and talking to fans and realizing how excited they are. um that tends to be enough, and I enjoy it, and it also makes that pint of beer post tour that little bit more cooler, refreshing, and well earned, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I was obviously sober when I was pregnant, but the one thing I did make sure I took to the hospital with me was an IPA. I was like, after this kid's out of me, I'm having a damn beer in that bed. I don't care what anyone says. And it's
Wow,
good for breast milk, so it was fine. I did it.
okay, yeah,
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 I
well
was
done.
there for it too. We had a
you
cheers.
were. You
Yeah,
was.
in the
You was in the
hospital room.
hospital bed with me.
uh, but man, Luke, yeah, super excited to have you on. Thank you again for making the time. So, as Chasta just mentioned, so yeah, the Struts and Dirty Honey going out on the road again. They're going to be at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento this Saturday, September 13th. So, get your last minute tickets over Ticketmaster.com. Also, Ace of Spades, SAC at .com as well. Man, we're super excited for you guys. So, last week you had the big release. So as you just mentioned, you guys are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Everybody Wants. But last week you had the big re-release, the big re-recording of Could Have Been Me featuring Queen guitarist Brian May.
Incredible.
Incredible. Awesome. Obviously, Chas and I want to know all the details. How did this come together?
Oh gosh. It I'm friends with Joe Elliott from Def Leppard,
Mhm.
and we'd been he was obviously featured as well as Phil from Def Leppard on one of our tracks on our COVID record, Strange Days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So during 2020, me and Joe got like, pretty close, and of course I knew he was really friendly with Brian May, and I think I just sort of hounded Joe for Brian's contact details, which he eventually gave me, and then that led to a friendship with Brian, essentially sort of blossoming. And then honestly, I can't really remember how or when, but he obviously heard Could Have Been Me, and really enjoyed it, and was
Mhm.
just inspired to the extent where he decided to send me this version, reimagined version that he'd
Mhm.
come up with. And I was of course blown away. And and then essentially like a few years kind of like just rolled on, and he was busy, the band was busy, and we just never really sort of found the time to get together and really properly finish it.
Mhm.
So at the front of this year, we all knew that we wanted to celebrate a decade of this record and the album. And I just sort of got back to him, was just like, look, let's just do this. I mean, now it really makes sense. We can really do something really unique with this song. Ended up shooting a video for it, which was tremendous.
Mhm.
And it's just been an incredible experience. And even the tour itself, the first half that we've done, I mean, there are songs in the set, because we're playing the album from front to back. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
there's at least 3 songs on that record that we haven't really played since doing like these 150, 200 cap clubs when we
Yeah.
first started out.
Yeah.
And it's a real poetic moment playing those very same songs, going from 200 people to 2,500 people. That's been really, really great. On top of course, this great collaboration that we've had with Brian. But I love him dearly, and we're in regular contact, and he's he's a really, really amazing, great person.
He looks like such a genuine soul, and might I give him credit too for being at his level, being at that caliber of rock stardom, if you will, and really paying attention to what's happening in the world of rock and roll. I mean, obviously working with you all, he worked with, played with Benson Boone, which was really cool. And I
Mm.
think that that's like, it seems like he's getting a lot of joy out of paying attention and collaborating with the more active rock, or even in Benson's case, in pop. Are you getting that sense about him that he's just really enjoys music all the way around?
Yeah, he's essentially the real deal. And as a fellow performer and musician, like I've been lucky enough to interact with people of that caliber, where you just have this sixth sense that above money, above accolades and fame, fortune, all of that kind of materialistic stuff, at the root of it, these people, including Brian, are just such genuine fans of
Mhm.
music,
Mhm.
and the process of making great songs, and of course performing in front of a live audience. And I think what comes with that is when something inspires you and you're genuinely interested, like those kind of people just can't help themselves. They just have to kind of act on those impulses, and thank God that they do, because it's it's great to see such notable like legends, of that caliber. But I wouldn't say necessarily sort of like pass the baton down, or the torch, so to speak, but to sort of mentor and guide and teach, a lot of upcoming artists. And it's inspiring. It's something that I get a great amount of joy from as well. There are so many young bands coming up recently in the last couple of years, that I'm sort of lucky that they they even feel the need to sort of like hit me up and ask me questions, and ask
Yeah.
for advice, and I'm more than happy to give it, because there's room for everybody in this world and space. So yeah, it's great times, great times.
Absolutely. So just curious, what's some of the biggest takeaways that you learned from Brian May? You said,
Yeah, right? He's such a
he
wise sage
yeah,
man.
you said he's there to mentor. So yeah, what are some of the kind of big key takeaways you had with your time with him?
I think what I've learned from him over the years is the importance of like your artistic integrity. And it's very common in this industry to have like a collection of people that, that they think that they know what's best, and
Mm,
they have like, theoretical pages of advice for you and how things work. And a lot of the times when it comes to music, these kind of people, it's good to listen to them. It's good to listen, but
hmm
to be sort of like fear mongered into some sort of decision making is for better or for worse, it really doesn't normally work out the way that you're promised. And the only thing that you can do is rely on your instincts as a performer, writer, everything in between. And yeah, that's definitely been really inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, one of the things I love most about you, and this has been a great big year for you with your solo album, is that
Mm.
you really open yourself up. Like you really are not afraid to be vulnerable, to tell how you feel inside. And I would imagine that that comes with a certain amount of pressure. And I commend you on that because I can't imagine that that is easy. Talk to me about what that was like stepping away from the Struts and going, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to pour my heart and soul out in it.
Well, firstly, thank you. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think my own record was a real journey of like self exploration, and above all, it was probably the most genuine attempt for me, as a writer, to be as truthful and what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, just as honest as I possibly could be, in terms of my experiences about my past relationships. And that wasn't always like an easy thing to do. And there are quite a few songs on the record that, to be quite frank, don't exactly paint me in the greatest light. And
mm,
that was definitely like a challenge, but I do think that there is power in the truth. And the,
Amen. Yeah.
and the irony of when it comes to writing is like, I've written on many different sides of, like, call it like a spectrum, so to speak. And
hmm
I've had songs like Could Have Been Me, which have been very universally understood, which speak about quite a broad message. Um, and then I've had songs like on my solo record, which were deeply, deeply personal, but yet seem to connect just as well, in a slightly different way, um, as you know, compared to something like Could Have Been Me. They sort of, the more personal you get, sometimes, funny enough, you become more universally speaking, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Well, those are the ones that stick with you. I mean, look, Could Have Been Me is this massive stadium sound. It's
Mm,
joyful. It brings a certain energy. But like my favorite artist in the world is Janis Joplin. Now, she wasn't technically the most incredible singer, but I felt the inner workings of her soul when she sang.
mm,
And that's what I get from you when you do
mm,
solo work. I'm feeling that. And to me, like great songs are great songs are great songs, right? But to
mhm,
me, those songs, they're the ones that stick with you over time and you call back to and you relate to. And all of a sudden you connect that song to some douchebag you dated, years ago or whatever the case may
mhm.
be,
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
no,
very powerful.
exactly. It's been such a brilliant learning experience for me, in many ways. I mean, it wasn't an easy thing to do, and it definitely was not a walk in the park, as they say. But I found it to be so incredibly informative in terms of like my own abilities, and it's really helped me um create sort of like a creative mind that is made up of two different sides that I can sort of like tap into now in a healthy, balanced way, where as a writer I can sit down, and if I'm sort of fishing, so to speak, and I catch something which is incredibly personal and um romantic, but it's a song that needs to be presented in, let's say, more of like a delicate way.
Mhm.
I have now like a unique platform that I can sort of put that out on. And
Yeah.
yet, if I'm in that mood where I want to make like another raucous party anthem, like I have this incredible band in the Struts where I can use the group as like a vehicle to sort of channel that. But yeah, I'm going out on the road for the very first time as a solo artist at the end, well, in November, just after we sort of finish this run. So that's also going to be a really great experience that I'm looking forward to.
It's exciting. You gotta bring that shit to the West Coast.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. It's Luke, I just want to follow up on that though about the whole solo album process, because Chaz and I were talking a little bit before you jumped on here, and I feel like over the years as music fans, when we love a band and we find out the lead singer wants to do a solo album, I think
Mhm,
most fans have two reactions. It's like one, maybe a little bit like a panic, like, oh my God, like what's going on? Why is my favorite musician going off to do a solo album? Why not just make more new music with the band that we love?
mhm,
Is there something wrong we don't know about? Like, what's the case? Like, people have maybe like the worst case scenario in their head. On the other hand, it could be like thinking, oh my God, my favorite artist is going to be making more music.
mhm.
And in this case, it's a little bit of, as you just mentioned, a little bit of a different genre, sound, vibe, everything. So, with that being said, is this something you'd like to ask the band permission to do, or how'd you present to them? Like, hey, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna go over here and do this. Like, how that whole conversation came to be.
Well, firstly, I would encourage the audience and our immediate fan base to
Mhm.
sort of embrace the latter, which is
Okay.
like there's just more music
Okay.
with my sort of heart and soul in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the truth is it was something that I'd wanted to do pretty much from like 2020 onwards, when I
Okay.
had like a lot of time and we weren't on the road. And when it comes to the band, I mean, look, honestly, there's no easy way to sort of like rip that band-aid off and to sort of like communicate that you want to sort of focus your time and efforts into something that doesn't include everyone. And I mean, that for a moment that wasn't easy. I know, upon self-reflection, I probably could have conducted myself like a little bit more gracefully, but I'm also lucky enough that I'm in a group of very sort of like level-headed people,
Okay.
and once we'd sort of had like a lot of open discussions and talked about it, it sort of it got a lot easier. But in terms of the music itself as well, it's like sometimes in life you can talk, and it's really actions that speak louder than words. And I think
Hmm.
whether it's the bandmates themselves or even like my audience, I think now, since getting onto this tour and letting this year play out, I've sort of shown not only to myself but friends, family, bandmates, audience, that I can I can sort of like juggle, not juggle, I can actually balance
Hmm.
these two different sort of projects in a great productive way, which, you know, I think is just nothing but a great thing. And you know, to your point, a lot of people do panic and they say, oh my gosh, he's gonna leave, he's gonna this. And I think stereotypically a lot of people do that famously historically. But you know, look, the Struts are so unique in every sense of the word. I mean, we're the only band that could open up for Motley Crue and the Rolling Stones, and then also do an arena tour with a pop band like McFly in the
Right.
UK.
Yeah.
And our rise to sort of success, or whatever you want to call it, is also been equally as unique. And you know, this is just another sort of interesting thing that this band can do, and that is having a front man that can front this band and do something which is very in your face and very energetic, but also at the same time can show this different side and produce music at an equal sort of like level and caliber,
Yeah.
but yet not have to sort of like leave anyone. And you know, where, I mean, where's the romance in sort of quitting and leaving? You know what I mean? I don't really sort of see the point in that.
And how blessed you are to have these men around you that give you space to explore. And it sounds like it's done nothing but really help you find new places in your soul and your artistic endeavors that can make you a more well-rounded musician. And what's bad about that? There, no one loses in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest reasons for me doing it and having to see it through was, you know, in all honesty, by the time we had done like our fourth album, I was slightly jaded in terms of like where the band should go next and what we should do. And you know, look, like everybody around me would admit, like a lot of the creative vision and everything that comes with that, whether I like it or not, it does fall on me.
Hmm.
And to be quite honest, I didn't really know exactly what to do. So doing something for myself and doing something that was very different has been like the catalyst now of more recently having like this new wave of like inspiration for the band. And I'm really
Hmm.
excited to to get back with everyone and make more music, and I have a really clear vision on what we can be doing next, and I think everyone's going to really enjoy it.
That's really exciting. We're pumped about that. Well, we'll be all over it and here to support and play it on the radio, so we can't wait. And also, I just want to give a quick shout out for your show that's coming up in Sacramento. A band we support on our radio station,
Mm.
107.7 The Bone, Red Voodoo. They're a big local Northern California band. They're actually opening in what I understand to be a connected stage to the venue, right, Huey?
Yeah, it's like a cocktail lounge at Ace of
Yeah.
Spades. It's called the Good Luck Lounge. So it's like a little bit like a pre-show party where people can go before you
So
and you guys and Dirty Honey hit the stage. So yeah, get there early. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock. So see Red Voodoo, then yes, go see Dirty Honey and the Struts. It's going to be an epic
Wow.
night.
Yeah, it
so
sounds
cool.
great. Sounds great.
Three of our favorite bands that we support. And Luke, you know, it's been a pleasure talking to you before, and this has been really, really great. So we always appreciate your time. I know it's a travel day for you, so you got a lot on your plate to get back out there.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate it, and thanks for having me. It's been wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we cannot wait. So, like, just to recap, I know you guys got a lot to promote. So, the Struts Dirty Honey will be at Ace of Spades in Sacramento this Saturday, September 13th. Get your tickets over Ticketmaster.com, also aceofspadesac.com. As you said, you guys are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Everybody Wants. You got the reimagined version of Could Have Been Me featuring Brian May. Also, we didn't have a chance to talk about it, but we do love your guys' cover of Rock and Roll Fantasy.
Oh, we've been playing that too. So good, by the way. So good. Yes.
Yeah, for the Bad Company compilation that's coming out, the tribute album coming out October 24th. And yes, go get Luke's debut solo album, Love Will Probably Kill Me Before Cigarettes and Wine.
That's I love that song so much. Oh so my God. Even the title of it's so cheeky, but oh my God, I love it. You've got to bring your solo stuff to the West Coast. You make a pinky promise with me that you will do that.
I am. So I can unofficially tell you that I've obviously announced the dates, the first 5, but I will be announcing a few more a little bit later on this year, which are in fact on the West Coast. But
yes, fantastic. We'll keep that our little secret until next time. All right, Luke. Well, we'll let you go get dressed. You enjoy your day. Have a great time getting back on the road.